So I came up on a article that talked about how never Trump Republicans are pretty much decided on who they're going to support in this, in this primary and also in the general election, assuming he gets there, and that's Joe Biden. Joe Biden is getting the support of basically the people that hate Donald Trump because of his mean tweets and the fact that he says, mean things about people and rude things about people, but still believe in the same policies that he does. They just don't like his cadence and his style and the way he operates. So these are the people that love people. They loved, and the problem is they loved Hillary Clinton in 2016 too. These are the same people that love Joe Biden going into 2020. Same type of people. And this article is from the Washington Examiner, which is typically a right-wing publication. But this article and this kind of news, or whatever you want to call it, this development, it was really important and something that I wanted to cover. So it says, so the title of the article from Washington Examiner is Only Plausible Candidate. Never Trump Republicans Plotting to Back Biden. So it's an article from David Drucker. And I want to get into the body here a little bit, so check this out and we'll discuss it as we read along. Republicans opposed to President Trump are quietly preparing to support Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden, backing that could materialize in the primary as he attempts to fend off a surging Elizabeth Warren. Some Republican operatives active in never Trump circles are discussing the timing and what form support for Biden might take. Groups such as Stand Up Republic, co-founded by prominent Never Trump Republicans Evan McMullin, aka McMuffin, and Mindy Finn, could target disaffected GOP voters in key micro battlegrounds with finely tailored advertising in a bid to boost Biden in the Democratic primary. Biden, 76, is the most likely Democrat to receive measurable support from the Never Trump crowd, most of whom quickly concluded that the president does not face a realistic threat from the three Republicans challenging him in the GOP primary in 2020. So apparently the three, I know two, there's three of them, three people challenging Trump and trying to primary him in the Republican Party. Apparently there's three. I always thought there was two. I know one of them is Joe Walsh, and the other one is Bill Weld. Bill Weld he actually ran on the Libertarian ticket with Gary Johnson, Libertarian Gary Johnson, last time around in 2016, I believe. He was Gary Johnson's VP pick. So he's running as a Republican, challenging Trump. And then Joe Walsh is just a right-wing lunatic who's probably more right-wing than Trump, which is funny. So somehow he thinks he has a chance. So it continues on here. It says, Biden is probably the only plausible candidate that Never Trumpers could support, said Jim Dornan, a Republican operative in Washington who maintains relationships with anti-Trump Republicans. Anna Navarro Cardenas, a Florida GOP operative who backed Jeb Bush in 2016 and has been close to Senator Marco Rubio, attended a Biden campaign event last weekend, sitting on the front row stroking her dog Cha-Cha. Biden turned to her and said, I've got to sort of genuflect in this direction here because I'm afraid of her. No, I'm embarrassing her, I know. That's my intention. We've been good friends for a long time. I don't know why one would want to admit to being friends with Anna Navarro. She's a typical kind of clueless, Republican operative that obviously hates Trump, but it's like, she's like I think she's Latina and stuff. I think she's from Chile? I don't know, somewhere in South America. And so she's like that typical kind of like Latino operative, but like a Republican, but obviously just hates the rhetoric that just comes from Trump, but just doesn't really hate his policies, just hates the kind of ways that he talks and refers to, I guess, immigrants, that's legitimate, but I mean, still, she's like big time right winger, obviously. It says how a Warren nomination might affect the Never Trump movement and its participation in the 2020 campaign is unclear. Some Republicans in this community who believe Warren's policies are a different sort of extreme than Trump, but equally dangerous to the country, see, that's what I'm saying, might channel their opposition into helping one of the president's long-shot primary challengers or get behind an independent candidacy should one develop. Other Never Trump Republicans insist that the label means exactly that. If it's Elizabeth Warren that presents a real problem because she may have a lot of plans, but most of them are terrible, said Sarah Longwell, a veteran GOP operative and outspoken anti-Trump Republican. Being Never Trump doesn't mean abandoning conservative sensibilities. See, that's the difference. That's what I'm talking about. That's the difference between being anti-Trump and being like anti-Republican right-wing policies. They love the right-wing policies. They love being conservative. They love being Republicans, but they just can't stand Trump. That's the only difference. Never Trump means what it says. Never Trump. Under no circumstances can you embrace that man coming back to the White House, countered Jerry Taylor, who runs the Niskanen Center, a centrist Washington think tank that has become a gathering spot for anti-Trump Republicans. Ugh. It's a terrible place you would want to be affiliated with. Sounds like something from Third Way. Most Never Trump Republicans that I traffic with are of the mind that any electoral outcome that doesn't return Donald Trump to the White House is a good outcome, save for the wild card of Bernie Sanders. Yeah, big surprise there. So this person is saying. So this is Anna Campos, a 38-year-old airline employee from Des Moines, Iowa. She says he's real and he's not scared of Trump. And she described herself as a registered Republican preparing to participate in her first Democratic Congress. She says that Joe Biden is not afraid of Donald Trump. Who's afraid of Donald Trump? Is Bernie Sanders afraid of Donald Trump? I don't know about Warren and the rest of them, but I know Bernie Sanders is not afraid of Donald Trump. Now, maybe this person is just saying, well, you know, Bernie Sanders is just too radical. Okay, whatever. But he's not afraid of, nobody's afraid of Donald Trump. And why wouldn't Joe Biden be afraid of Donald Trump? I mean, Biden is, the guy doesn't believe in anything. He doesn't have any kind of policy that he goes out there and he pushes for. His rallies are boring. His supporters are totally unenthusiastic. They don't believe in anything other than just being anti-Trump. So the same people that support Joe Biden, so the typical kind of Democratic centrist, moderate Democrats, those people are the same. They're just like the anti-Trump Republicans. They just don't like Trump. And they don't believe in any actual policies. So they're just a bunch of clueless robots that just spew the same fucking policy, same fucking talking points that you hear from any establishment type politician, whether it's Republican or Democrat. But in this case, these are people that that are Republicans that are supporting Democrats. This person, was a Republican before, and now she wants to become a Democrat because she hates Trump. And then the last few paragraphs here says, what interests Republican operatives opposed to Trump, in addition to Biden's relative moderation, is the former vice president's strength against Trump in key 2020 battlegrounds. In hypothetical matchups in heartland states such as Michigan and emerging swing states such as Arizona, Biden has led Trump and tends to outperform Warren and Sanders. Okay, this is the same exact thing they said about Hillary Clinton. They said that Hillary Clinton would do well in those states like Michigan, and others saying Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Now, Pennsylvania is the home state of Joe Biden, so I mean maybe he'll get that. But Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin were all states that Hillary Clinton didn't even campaign in during the general election. And Wisconsin and I know Michigan, I believe Wisconsin, Bernie Sanders won in the primary. I believe Bernie Sanders beat Hillary Clinton in the Wisconsin primary in 2016. I know he beat Michigan. Michigan was huge. Michigan was one of the biggest upsets ever. But Wisconsin, I think he beat her too. But she didn't campaign in those three states, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, in the general election against Trump. All she did was go and do fucking high-end fundraisers and with donors and stuff, and go to rallies with LeBron James and Katy Perry and stuff. Yeah, so I mean, this isn't the same exact thing, but who the hell knows how Biden's going to campaign? We don't know. If he's going to take the same mentality of, well, yeah, I just want to become president, I want to beat Trump, you're going to fucking lose. Trust me. You're not going to beat Donald Trump using the same mentality and the same strategies of a clueless robot like Hillary Clinton. In particular, many Never Trump Republicans have almost zero confidence in the ability of Sanders to upend Trump in potentially decisive Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin states. States where culturally conservative, blue-collar voters will play a major role in which party captures each state's electoral college votes. I just said that Bernie Sanders beat Hillary Clinton, who's just as conservative, if not more conservative, than Joe Biden. He beat her in Michigan. So you're mentioning Michigan here, Wisconsin here, and Pennsylvania, as if like Bernie Sanders has no chance. Are you kidding me? This is what I'm saying. These people are totally clueless. Let's check out this last paragraph here, and then I'll continue on. It says, I think those voters are much more likely to vote for Joe Biden than they are Bernie Sanders, said Stuart Stevens, a Republican operative who in 2012 advised GOP nominee Mitt Romney, and this cycle is counseling Bill Weld, one of Trump's 3 long-shot primary challengers. So obviously Stuart Stevens is like brought on as an expert, as if he knows everything. And he's saying things that are completely ridiculous. And he's saying that Bernie Sanders doesn't have a chance in those states, in those specific states, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. I mean, leave it up to these Never Trump Republicans, people that advised Mitt Romney and now is advising one of the people that's challenging Trump that has no chance. Leave it up to these fucking idiots to say, ridiculous things that are just completely baseless. How the fuck do you know that Bernie Sanders doesn't have he beats Donald Trump in every single poll. I mentioned this before. He beats Donald Trump in every single poll that has ever been taken in a one-on-one battle with Donald Trump. Bernie Sanders beats him. That's clear and based on every single poll. Now, if you want, whether or not, again, if you want to take, I'm always of the opinion that you shouldn't take polls super seriously. You should always take them with a grain of salt. But that's the only evidence we have to go based on. And if that's the evidence that you want to use, that's what you want to. That's the evidence. And that proves that Bernie Sanders can beat Donald Trump and would beat Donald Trump in a general election, one-on-one against him. And then these idiots out there, he has no chance. Those voters are much more likely to vote for Biden than they are. How do you know that? What, because he goes out there and says, I'm middle class Joe, and I'm totally with the regular folk, and I'm with the union voter, union workers out there, and I believe in unions. I don't believe in busting them up, even though I really do. And yeah, I'm totally like every regular person out there. I'm like every guy named Joe. I'm an average Joe. I'm average Joe Biden. Yeah, no, Joe Biden is going to lose to Donald Trump. I've been watching multiple segments from Secular Talk, Kyle Klintz gives Secular Talk. He's pointed out multiple times how Joe Biden is completely making a fool of himself with his rallies and interviews and statements and speeches and debates and all that stuff, media appearances, everything. Joe Biden he's not even close to what he was in 2008 when he was VP for 2008 and 2012 when he was VP for Obama, and he took on Sarah Palin and then Paul Ryan in the VP debates. He did good. Back then he was good, but right now he's a fumbling idiot, and he doesn't know what he's saying. He doesn't know if he's going left or right, literally. He doesn't know which way he's going. He's catering to one side, he's catering to another side, but honestly mostly he's catering to the right-wingers, obviously, the right-wing Democrats and obviously conservatives, and that's why they fucking love him so much. There's a reason why these people love him so much. And yeah, it's just like, that's just not, you're not catering to any regular person out there, and your policies are not supportive of anything that the regular people want. The only reason people like Joe Biden or know about Joe Biden is because his name is Joe Biden, and he was President Obama's nominee, and he was President Obama's VP for 8 years. Before that, he ran for president 3 times, and he lost each time very early in the primary. Every single time. He ran 3 times. The first time he was caught with a plagiarism scandal. The second time, I don't even know what happened. He just dropped out because he was doing shitty. And then the third time was in 2008 before he got chosen as Obama's VP. And he did shitty there. He polled at like 3%. He was doing nothing. Joe Biden is not a competent nominee. He is not a competent candidate. He only has popularity right now because he's a right-wing Democrat. He's a conservative Democrat that's loved by right-wingers, obviously, and conservatives that are not pro-Trump, and because he has name recognition. That's all it is. That's all he has to rely on. And all of his speeches are boring as fuck. He has no substance in anything that he says. He doesn't go into any kind of details in his policies because he doesn't believe in any policies. He just believes in grifting off of President Obama. He believes in pushing the same policies that got Hillary Clinton to lose to Donald Trump, pushing the same exact bullshit, maybe even worse than Hillary Clinton. And it's just not up to, who does it appeal to? His rallies are boring. He barely even ever does any rallies, but then when he does rallies, he's talking about, having a fight with Corn Pop, and when he does debates, he's talking about, record players and using words with kids. The fuck? I don't even know what is this guy talking about, man? He's so like out there. He's in fucking outer space right now. I don't know where his head is. It's either in outer space or it's up his ass. But whatever Biden is doing is not beneficial for the Democratic Party. It's not beneficial for the country, and it's going to put forth the same exact agenda that was endorsed, or not endorsed, but it was essentially embraced by Barack Obama, was embraced by Hillary Clinton. It's been embraced by the establishment Democrats, and these are all people that hate Bernie Sanders. And obviously, the never Trump Republicans hate Bernie Sanders too, and they think he's going to lose to Trump because he's a socialist. He's a big time lefty socialist, and they think he's going to lose to Trump. When in reality, Bernie Sanders kills Trump in every single poll that's done against him. So Bernie Sanders doesn't have any issues. Donald Trump has the issues. Look at how Donald Trump is doing one-on-one against Donald Trump. Maybe he's beating him just like Hillary Clinton was beating him in 2016. But he's not beating him by as much as Bernie Sanders is. Bernie Sanders is beating Donald Trump by more than Biden is. Just like Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was barely beating Trump in the general election one-on-one polls. Same exact thing, and that's exactly how the polls turned out. She beat him by 3 million votes, so she beat him by the raw number of popular votes, but then she lost the Electoral College. Surprise, surprise. I mean, that's how it happens. And these people, these idiot strategists that go out there and talk about how, never Trump Republicans or people that don't like Trump, people in the middle of the country, they're going to love Joe Biden. You people have no idea what you're talking about. You fucked it all up in the 2016 when you thought that Trump wasn't going to win and you backed Hillary Clinton. How did that end up working out for you? You're talking about how, oh yeah, Donald Trump is so divisive and Donald Trump is so, he's not going to get attraction from any regular people. Well, obviously he did, because that's how he ended up beating Hillary Clinton, by getting more votes in states like Ohio and Florida in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, all the states that he won, because Hillary Clinton is incompetent. And on top of the fact that she didn't campaign in those three states, in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, she lost those. And then on top of it, she didn't go and campaign in the Rust Belt either, whether you consider Ohio, Iowa, Missouri, middle of the country, where these people apparently would love Joe Biden in. Yeah, laugh along with me. You go to those states would support Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders is going and doing town halls and doing events in those states, and he's getting tons of fucking people coming to his rallies. People love Bernie Sanders, man. They love Bernie Sanders. They love his policies because he believes in policies that helps regular people. That is not the case with Joe Biden. That is not what Joe Biden is going to get, and he is going to lose to Donald Trump. Take my word for it. Listen to it. Put it on paper. He is going to lose to Donald Trump. And that's the bottom line. And if you don't think that, you are going to make the same exact mistake that you made in 2016. If you made that same mistake, you're going to make it again in 2020. And you can take that to the fucking bank.